Some people are incredibly superstitious. Like, why do NHL teams refuse to touch their conference championship trophy prior to the Stanley Cup? Even though some folks aren't superstitious and don't believe in curses, we here at Total Pro Sports do. If curses didn't exist, then why are some sports teams struggling to win so much? I'm Daquan Young, and today we dive into the 10 sports teams that really are cursed. And a big shout out to Hipolito Soriano for suggesting this. Please remember to give us your ideas in the comment section. Number 10, the Texas Rangers. To recap, this team was born in 1961. They haven't won a World Series. They didn't even reach the postseason for the first time ever until 1996. It wasn't until 2010 when they reached their first ever World Series. Well, they lost it all to the San Francisco Giants. A year later, they faced the St. Louis Cardinals in the Fall Classic. Leading the series 3-2, the Rangers were one strike away from winning it all. Not once, but twice. Then, David Freese happened. You know the rest. Texas hasn't won a playoff series since. With all their stars and so much underachieving, we know there's a curse on them somewhere. Number 9, the Vancouver Canucks. Everything possible that could go wrong for this team does. They sucked in the 70s and most of the 80s, except for a lucky trip to the 1982 Stanley Cup final. This team has also lost a pair of Stanley Cup final series since. In 1994 to the New York Rangers, who ended their own 54-year curse, and in 2011 to the Boston Bruins, who ended a 39-year cup drought. And that 4-0 loss in Game 7 to Boston caused citywide riots. Now, the Canucks are one of the more laughable sports franchises. Nobody in that organization can do anything right. 46 years and counting without a cup? Oh, and the LA Kings beat them in the 2012 playoffs en route to winning their first cup in their 45-year history. See the picture here? The cursed Canucks are a stepping stone for other teams to end their curses. Number 8, the Los Angeles Clippers. While their Staples Center rivals, the LA Lakers, have 16 NBA championships, the Clippers have none. With the dominant Kobe Bryant era out of the way for several years now, one would think the Clippers would finally represent LA well. Not quite. Despite the talents of Blake Griffin and Chris Paul, the Clippers franchise has yet to even reach the NBA Finals since its inception in 1970. So yeah, there's a curse somewhere. Number 7, the Chicago Bears. You may not know this, but the Bears are cursed. You see, the Chicago Honey Bears were once the team's official cheerleading squad. But when Virginia Hallis McCaskey inherited the team from her father, she got rid of the Honey Bears, believing they were sexist towards women and calling them sex objects. After the Bears won Super Bowl 20, McCaskey officially ended the Honey Bears era. The Bears haven't won a Super Bowl since, and now they have Jay Cutler as their quarterback. Enough said. The Blackhawks, White Sox, and Cubs have all ended their curses, but not the Bears. Number 6, the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals have yet to win a Super Bowl. You see, back in 1925, they lost to the Pottsville Maroons, who clinched the NFL championship that year. However, it was discovered that Pottsville played in their own scheduled games, which violated league rules. The Cardinals were offered the title since Pottsville was disqualified for winning it, but their owner refused, saying they were beaten fairly. The curse will not end unless Arizona wins the title. They came close in Super Bowl 43, but blew their chance. Until they find a way to win their own title fairly, the Redbirds remain cursed. Number 5, the Buffalo Bills. To lose 4 straight Super Bowls in the 90s is one way of knowing you're cursed. The Bills also haven't won a playoff game since 1995. And, oh yeah, they haven't made the playoffs since 1999. They're also in, well, Buffalo. There's a sports curse across all Buffalo sports teams. The Bills are an easy choice for us to put here. Number 4, the Cleveland Indians. The Indians haven't won a World Series since 1948. Perhaps they shouldn't have traded franchise icon Rocky Colavito in 1960. Colavito, who was incredibly beloved in Cleveland, was traded to the Detroit Tigers because of his desire for large amounts of money. Colavito led the American League in home runs with 42 in 1959. After the trade, a series of unfortunate events took place for Cleveland. They struggled for years, made more awful trades, and of course, haven't won a World Series. They were 2 outs away from winning it all in 1997, only to blow it. In 2016, they led the Chicago Cubs 3-1, but they blew it again. The curse lives on until Cleveland wins a World Series. Number 3, the Toronto Maple Leafs. You may not know this, but the Leafs had to break another curse many decades ago. Bill Barilko, the 1951 Stanley Cup hero for Toronto, disappeared that summer in a plane crash. The Leafs were a mess without Barilko. That is, until his body was discovered in 1962. That same year, they won the Stanley Cup. But the Leafs' latest curse has them without a Stanley Cup's finals appearance since 1967. A list of terrible trades and constant playoff meltdowns suggests this team is undergoing a curse. Well, considering everything that could go wrong has gone wrong for this team, we believe it. Number 2, the Detroit Lions. Bobby Lane is arguably the greatest Detroit Lion in history. He quarterbacked them from 1950 to 58 and won 3 NFL championships with them and led the league in touchdowns twice. The Lions traded him to the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1958. Though the quote wasn't published, it's been reported that Lane said the Lions would not win for 50 years. Of course, the Lions had the NFL's worst winning percentage from the time of the trade to 2008, going 0-16 that year. The Lions haven't won a playoff game since 1991 and have only made the playoffs twice since 1999. They've also never played in a Super Bowl. Whether or not Lane uttered the words that supposedly began the curse, we know it's had an effect on the Lions anyway. Number 1, the Cleveland Browns. You probably saw this one coming. Where do we begin? The costly interception in the final minute against the Oakland Raiders in the 1981 AFC Divisional Round? The fumble? Or the fact that Cleveland has a new starting quarterback, actually 3 starting quarterbacks, every year. This team hasn't had any luck at all since winning the 1964 NFL Championship. They're a cursed team. That's all there is to it. Which other sports teams do you believe are cursed? Join us in the comments below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps us out a ton and we truly appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to Total Pro Sports though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.